What's a permanent student? Some people call it tutorial hell, where instead of taking that leap and jumping into the game as a coder, software developer, web designer, web developer, whatever specialization you want to get into, instead what people do is they forever take tutorials, go into things like code games or competitions. They do everything but actually step up to the plate and write real-world code. So the way I teach people in my mentoring program is that once you have your fundamentals down, it's time to get into the game. It's time to start building projects. You're not going to build Facebook the first time around, of course, but you start off with something simple. So if you're doing the web stack, it could be a simple thing like setting up somebody's WordPress and modifying a theme, or creating a responsive website from scratch with CSS Grid and Flexbox, or maybe you just use Bootstrap to get it done quick. And maybe you implement Stripe via their API with a little PHP backend or something like that. Simple things. You can start off really simple and build up from there. The mistake that people make in the YouTube world is that they're going to go out there and they're going to come to a job knowing absolutely everything that they need to know and start off making $200 million a year, and everybody's going to want to kiss their butts. It doesn't work that way. You learn your fundamentals, you develop a basic portfolio doing simple little projects for people, so you show prospective employers that you know what you're doing, you can work with people, and then you jump into the job. And from there, you start the real learning process. If you let yourself get caught in tutorial hell, you're just going to keep going down these rabbit holes of technology, because if you look at any little corner of the YouTube or the internet, you're going to find somebody advocating for some sort of technology, telling you that you have to learn this or you're a loser. Let me give you a couple of tips. How do you identify fake coders online? They tell you that technology A or B or C is the amazing technology and everything else sucks. That's what you got to learn, that's it. Or they say, oh, you better learn this because if you don't, there's not going to be career opportunities for you. Again, that's another indicator of a beginner, a noobish person who has not been in the industry. Any experienced developer will tell you that when you get out there as a real developer, these programming languages, these frameworks, whether it be Vue or React Native, or Flutter, or JavaScript versus Python versus PHP versus C# versus Java, they are all tools that you leverage depending on the needs of the job. So don't get caught up in tutorial hell. Don't get caught up into thinking that you're going to learn the wrong technology. Oh, this is not true. This is not the case. Avoid people who tell you these things because they're going to lead you down the path. They're inexperienced, clearly. Experienced developers will say, as I just said, they won't suggest this, that, or the other thing. With one exception, you shouldn't learn Ruby. All right, just to close off the video, you see these plants here? These are great plants that I've been buying for over a year now from a company called RT Planto. They make these amazing fake plants. I'll put a link to them below. Delivered to your door, and they look real. I used to have a whole bunch of real plants in my old place, and when I bought this new place here, the idea was to make this my pied à terre in Montreal, meaning my place downtown in Montreal. And then in the winter time, I planned to travel quite a bit, so I didn't want to have to worry about watering plants. So I got the fake plants, and what I've discovered is that the fake plants pretty much give you the same psychological impact as the real plants. They really do. They look real. They add a lot of character to your place, and the great thing is they never change, they never need to be watered, they never get diseases, they never get plant bugs, etc., etc., etc. So I highly recommend getting these fake plants from RT Planto. Again, it's not a sponsored post. They gave me one free one, but I bought several before. And the reason I approached them, I said, hey, you make good products, I buy several of your plants, I use them in videos, so fantastic. Highly recommend. Not all fake plants are created the same, by the way. You can get the low quality fake cheap plants, cheap fake plants, there we go. They're not the same, trust me. It makes a big difference. So Artie Planto, check them out. Again, I'm doing this. They gave me one free plant, but I wouldn't do an ad for a free plant. It was a fraction of what typically people pay me for when I do an ad for them. So they're great products. Check them out. Bye-bye.